On this week's episode of Cooper's Corner, we bring our first season to a close. And Sherry and I are so excited to share the highlights of season 1 with you as we explore northern Idaho and Montana. Our first season far exceeded our expectations, and we had the time of our lives. And we are so thankful that we were able to bring you along to explore it with us. And if you're new to our channel, we invite you to visit our channel and check out the 44 episodes we created in season 1.
Using Coeur d'Alene as our base camp, we spent time exploring Harrison. This is a very family-friendly town where neighbors know one another. It's a close-knit community with small-town charm, and we had a blast sharing part of the 4th of July with them.
Coeur d'Alene was a blast.
It certainly was.
It was like a gym, and it's really one of the prettiest towns in Idaho.
Yeah.
And we got to go there on the 4th of July, and man, they go all out on the 4th of July.
They really do, all the line dancing and
Yep.
the vendors in the park. It was just spectacular.
Yeah, and the fireworks were awesome.
Yep.
Then we hit Post Falls, and this is actually one of the places that we thought, man, this would be a great place to live.
We did.
And just family friendly, just really
Kids
cool.
Having a blast in the park, in the water. And then Hiawatha Trail. That was really awesome.
And that's actually in the Idaho-Montana border. And this trail is 17 miles of the old rail. It goes through, I think, 12 or 13 tunnels and trestles.
The views, oh my gosh, just spectacular views. If you haven't been there, you should try it because you won't regret it.
And we kicked butt on this because
we did.
This thing was 17 miles and we went both ways.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then there was Sunshine Mine.
One of my favorites.
We actually got in and got to talk with management, and they showed us around a little bit. We didn't get to do too much. But then we came out and we got to go to the Sunshine Disaster Memorial.
Oh, man.
That meant a lot to us.
Oh.
And if you know, that episode was awesome. It means a lot to us. But 90 miners died, and we got to meet Gary. And he actually worked in Sunshine Mine.
Yes, he did.
And that was cool.
That was. So then we went into the town of Kellogg, Idaho.
Yeah, and this is an historical town. It is really the center point to the Silver Valley mining community. And this is where we learned about huckleberry.
But if you're in Kellogg, you have to go to the Miners Museum.
Yeah.
What a fabulous place. And we met Sarah.
Yeah. Got connected with her husband, Sam, and got invited to go to Bunker Hill, which is also opening up if it's not open already.
Right.
But the museum was just an awesome resource.
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
And then we went up on the tram, and that just gave us an overview of the Silver Valley. Just beautiful.
Yeah, and it wasn't that expensive. So,
no.
And then Bunker Hill, man, that was the highlight of Silver Valley.
Yes.
And so they gave us the training to go into the mine, and the CEO and Sarah, which is a geologist, we got to go on a private tour of Bunker Hill. And I tell you, this couple, man, they were amazing.
Yeah, a shout out to Sarah and Sam. Thank you. It was great.
Absolutely. Yep. And we went way in there and we saw the historical end of it, where they worked back in the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah.
So much history in this mine.
So much.
And we got so many comments.
Yeah, we did.
From people that had worked in that mine.
Stories.
We had people give us comments on, hey, I'm a 3rd generation miner at Bunker Hill, and
that's just great to hear all that response, because not everybody gets to see what we got to see.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen that episode, you really got to go back and look at it, because it was amazing. And it wasn't just the mine. We went into some other areas. Then we got to see the manufacturing, processing. This is the Kellogg Tunnel, which is the original tunnel of the Bunker Hill mine. And But I think they might be open now. If not, they're getting really close. This is the processing plant. So
all brand new.
Yep. Sam
done
took
a
us
lot of
through
work.
this. Here, there's no conveyor belts, but they were moving right along.
Yeah, and from there we went into the small town of Wallace. That's another
That's
just
a must-see.
charming town.
Yep, that is a must-see. If
Oh,
you
my
go
goodness.
anywhere in the Silver Valley, you got to go to Wallace. Really charming town.
Yeah,
A lot of historic
buildings.
history there. Silver and gold, mainly silver, I think.
Yeah. We went on a little mining tour
Yeah.
there. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, the mining tour was for this
Yeah.
old fart actually worked in this mine, I believe.
Yeah, I think he did.
And
He was really knowledgeble and really good telling us the story behind it all. And
yeah, and this
how it was
mine,
done.
they had some working stuff, and that was really cool. So we got to see the drill, the air-driven drill. That's the mucker right there.
Yeah,
Or not the mucker. That's the where they bring it to the mucker.
But it just really brings it to life of what you're seeing.
This is the mucker right here.
So great.
And, it's operating, and so you really get a good feel of how they did mining.
Yep,
So,
most certainly.
but yeah, that was worth going into.
It was really
Not
great.
as good as the Bunker Hill because that
No.
was a real mine. Then we went over to Murray. Murray was an old western town. I think who was the big famous star? Anyways, it was an old town. Who am I thinking about?
Oh, it's going to come to us pretty soon when we're not thinking
Yeah.
about it.
But we always like to go to the cemeteries.
Yeah.
Burke was another big episode for us. This is so cool. We got to document this because within the next couple years, they are in the process of tearing out all of the buildings, the mill. They're already rerouted the river, and so all of this is being demolished, and it will be gone very soon. So, really, really sad to me. It just seems like this would be a great place to preserve. But and Sarah turned us on to this place, and it's decaying, but
Yeah. It's really
Spirit
sad.
Lake.
But this is Spirit Lake, another beautiful little town, just quaint and preserved so well.
yeah, this is another town that we looked at and said, "Man, I'd like to live here."
Yeah.
But Sherry and I came to realize real quick that northern Idaho, whoo, it's expensive. You gotta have some money put aside if you want to buy a house in northern Idaho.
And from there we went into Newport. Now, Newport, we found the best museum.
Yeah, well,
It was a
good,
railroad
really.
museum.
Yep.
And then we went into Owens.
Yeah.
And we had the best huckleberry ice cream there. I tell you what.
Now this is where we fell in love with huckleberry ice cream because
Yeah.
they make it on site. This diner has been in business for 1927 or something.
Yeah.
Still owned by the family, and it's just a really, really cool place. And this is actually in Washington. This is Newport, Washington. And so we made our way up to the Canadian border, and we went through the highway, and we came to Tiger. Tiger was a small community, and then we went up to the dam.
That was beautiful.
Yep, the Burke Canyon Dam,
That's
which is
really,
a hydro
really
plant
pretty.
still in operation. I think it was built in the 50s, if I remember right. Still operating.
Real small town.
Yep. And then we continued north. This is another mining town. They're trying to revive it with some art works, and a lot of artists are there. But really cool adventure in northern in Idaho. So then we left Coeur Lane, and we headed to Bonnie Ferry, Idaho.
Bonner Ferry.
Bonnie Ferry.
Bonner Ferry.
Bonner Ferry. And this was our first town actually entering into Montana.
Yeah.
And this has a lot of history too.
Yeah.
And then we
went into Libby.
Yep,
Spectacular. I love Libby with all this water. Oh my goodness. So pretty.
yeah, this was a pleasant surprise. And the falls there, really easy hike to get to it. Then you can cross the suspension bridge.
The suspension bridge was fun.
And the weather was perfect.
It was.
It was perfect.
We were really blessed on the weather throughout our adventure.
Yep, went up to the dam in Libby. This came in operation, I think, in the 70s.
Yeah.
And then this highway here took us all the way up to Eureka. And this is actually the dam behind it. And that was gorgeous. And this place was
Eureka.
a little unexpected. We thought we were going to see more in Eureka, but it was still a good town, a lot of history. Um,
A lot of fun. Got to feed the horses.
yeah, Mom liked
We
that
went
horse.
on a ride and saw a lot of neat things.
The bike ride, a little rough, but it followed the river and it went way back in there, so that was kind of cool.
And they have a real neat museum there.
Yep.
Really.
This is the actual general store, and all of these buildings here were transported when they made the dam, and so they moved all
they
these
relocated
buildings
it.
above to where the reservoir was going to be. So.
Right.
And our famous teeter-totter. And for those who watch that video, it's not on the video, but I actually dumped Sherry off of it, and she fell flat on her side.
Knocked the wind right out of me.
Yeah.
Then we went into Whitefish, which is another great little town.
Yeah,
oh my
that was really
gosh.
cool.
There's just so much history in these little towns. It's unbelievable.
This town is tourist, but it's Whitefish is where history goes back with a train, and it still goes to Glacier from the train station. A lot of artwork, a lot of galleries, a lot of skiing here, and just a really cool vibe town. We really liked it. That's an old photo of Whitefish when back in the day. But the train station was really cool. They had a little museum in there.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about, but it was cool. But then we took a drive up to Whitefish Canyon where the lake is. This is just 20 miles outside of the city, but the ranches out here were amazing, and the countryside was gorgeous.
Just spectacular. And then Kalispell, I loved Kalispell. If the winters weren't so hard there, I'd want to move there.
Yeah.
And
this place has the old town, which you're seeing right here, and they have a whole new portion of Kalispell, which is all your Best Buys, Home Depots, all your shopping. But the historic downtown area is gorgeous.
This was the courthouse.
That was the
and
courthouse.
It was beautiful. Oh.
But the houses, most of those houses are on historical
registrar.
Yep. And there's our Huckleberry ice cream.
And then we went into Big Fork, which I love too. I just fell in love with all these
This
towns.
town is way out there on Flathead Lake, and it is a really cool little town.
Yeah, and this place here
What was her
is
name?
family owned. Eva Gates.
No, I mean the
I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, but
yeah.
they had the best huckleberry jam there. Oh.
And then we rolled into Glacier National Park, and we really don't have to say anything. We'll just let you just look at the highlights of it. But
it's beautiful.
Glacier is now probably one of our top 5 national parks that we've ever visited, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
Loved it.
And we will return. And I got to tell everybody that if you get anywhere near, you've got to put this on your bucket list. Glacier National Park is a absolute must-see. Then we traveled on the east side into Glacier onto the Big Tree Lodge.
It was beautiful inside. There's 60 giant Douglas firs in that lodge.
Yeah, it was a really cool lodge.
Oh my goodness gracious. The fireplace too is just magnificent.
Yeah, but it was gas. That was but it used to be wood. And then we headed over to Pole Bridge and Bowman Lake. So this is going to another entrance of the Glacier National Park, but this is a long dirt road, and it's big time.
It took forever.
Yeah, man. But the countryside was absolutely gorgeous.
And the lake, it was amazing.
So this is Pole Ridge Mercantile, and it is 60 miles from the nearest, town. and then that was the entrance on Backcountry Glacier National Park. And this was a stunning drive too, and we went up to Bowman Lake.
It's so pretty though.
Look at this lake.
Look at the reflections.
And this part of Glacier National Park, most visitors don't go there. And it's just surreal.
Yeah.
You get to see the wildlife.
Just beautiful.
Yeah, that was a cool deer.
It really was.
So then we packed up and we're going to head out and start making our way to Great Falls, Montana. And man, as soon as you get up over the pass, it is flat on the far east side of Idaho.
Lots of prairie land, that's for sure.
And it was a little bit too far to make it all the way to Great Falls. So we boondocked for the first time in Collins. And this is private property that they allow people to set up. No hookups or anything, which was fine. But this was a gem that we were not expecting.
It really was.
And we had full reign of the person's property. And they had these old buildings. This is the old schoolhouse at Collins. And this is private property. And it was really cool to just explore these abandoned buildings. And it was phenomenal.
There are so many of them, but just the sites alone just...
But these buildings are, decades old. And then we got rewarded on a sunset that just blew us away.
Yes.
We were actually inside and
beautiful.
We saw this sunset coming up, and man, we just ran outside. And just gorgeous sunset. The clouds, and then later on in the night when it turned dark, we saw the Milky Way.
And then far off, we could see lightning storms going on.
Yeah, that was so cool. So, and we only spent one night there, so we hooked up the next morning and we started headed for Great Falls, Montana. And wasn't sure what to expect there, but the campground was really nice. And
saw a real nice buck.
Yeah, that buck was right in our campground. And so we started exploring the falls. And this is our first falls, and this is Great Falls. This is where Lewis and Clark went up and over. And so all these falls were originally or finally dammed. But on all these falls, the dams are behind the actual falls, which is really cool. So they didn't wipe out the falls themselves. But yeah, this was really cool. And there's hiking trails all through it.
Yeah.
They have a hydro plant here as well. And I think this was back in 1937 that it was built. And so this is one of the dams there. Rainbow Falls. And as you can see, the falls are still there, just like it was always. But then they built the dam behind it, and they have all of these falls have the hydro plants behind them.
The control.
Yeah. And this was Eagle Falls. And this has a lot of history. This is one of the larger hydro plants. This is also where they had a mill there. And then we went to visit the museum for Lewis
really
and Clark.
Great museum.
And we've been to several Lewis and Clark museums, and this one was like the bomb.
Yeah,
this
it just blew me
really
away
cool.
on everything.
And they just had a great exhibits and a lot of history, and really came to understand kind of what Lewis and Clark went through.
Yeah.
So.
And then my favorite was Giant Springs.
Yeah.
Oh man, I actually took my shoes off and put my feet in the water, and it was so ice cold. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and this was my first underwater adventure with my camera. But this spring was gorgeous.
So beautiful.
I mean, it's just crystal clear. And then First Peoples Buffalo. This is an interesting place. The history here is amazing. This is where all the Native Americans would come together. Enemies tribes would come together, and they would use this cliff to herd buffalo off the cliffs so that they could harvest them. And a lot of history here. Worth going to. It's probably
really
about
great.
35 minutes outside of Great Lakes.
Yeah, it wasn't too far.
Yep. And this is downtown Great Falls. Again, a lot of historic buildings down there.
The old train depot.
Yeah, that's the...
Which I was a little disappointed because I thought we were going to get to go inside of it, but they have it all closed up and it's not being used right now for anything.
Yep.
And then downtown.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with the downtown.
No.
It was definitely kind of run down a little bit. Probably a little bit more crime here. a little bit more, you got to be careful in Great Falls for sure.
Yeah.
But we enjoyed exploring downtown. And we spent, 4 days there? Something like that.
Yeah.
And then we were off to the ghost towns of Montana. So this series right here that we're going to highlight, we started off in Bannock. And man, let me tell you, these ghost towns are also something you want to put on your bucket list. And these ghost towns are so well preserved.
They are.
And this particular ghost town, you can go into almost all the buildings and just walk them, and they are amazing. It's like stepping back to the old days.
It really is. It gives the perspective of what people went through,
Yep. This hotel was amazing. It was amazing. And it actually was the capital of Idaho for a short time. And then Montana. And then it was bought by a man who transformed it into a hotel. I think he bought it for $12,500, put in, I don't know, a couple $100,000 or $500,000 to turn it into a hotel. And but it's really, really well preserved. It's got plaster on the walls.
Well, they even still do, once a year, they do big breakfast there. And,
yeah, the kitchen still operates.
And I forget what it is, what all they do, but they bring in the town people and all that.
This was the saloon, which Bannock had multiple saloons. This is the Bassett house, and this was owned by one of the miners that were mining the town. A lot of history on that one.
Yeah, and then this is an old church that actually had a piano inside of it.
Yeah, Methodist
and the
church.
Pews, Paul actually got up behind the
Preached it a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
pulpit. He was preaching it.
And this is the jailhouse. This is the newer jailhouse. I think it was 1890-ish. And in this particular jail, we replaced the oldest jail. This is the gallows where they hung the vigilantes hung the lawbreakers.
And then the cemetery, of course.
Yeah, always got to go to the cemetery.
Another spectacular sunset.
Yeah. So then we were off and running to Elkhorn. And this ghost town is pretty much 95% private. And but it's well worth getting off the highway. It's pretty close to Helena. And this particular two buildings are owned by the Montana State Park. And these are the original buildings, and you can go into them. And so they're accessed by the state park. But it's well worth coming here because you can go through the town. You can go to the cemetery, which is an absolute must-see.
And they have placards alongside the road to show what was once there, so it gives you more information.
Yeah, this was really... we actually went there thinking we could do this in about 3 hours, and it ended up we spent all day here.
Yeah.
And I remember telling Brian, I'll check in with you when we're done. We should be done by 4:35. And we had to book it to the highway because we had no cell reception here. So, I don't think we got to the highway till like 5:30 or 6. But this is the old mill. Didn't quite know it at the time, but this is actually on private land, and so I guess I somewhat trespassed. But got back in there and got some really good shots of the mill and some outbuildings back there. And I had a blast exploring this area. But man, the history here is just unbelievable.
It really is.
And this is the cemetery.
This is the sad part, though.
Yep, it is.
Broke my heart.
One of the things we noticed as we went through it was that we started to notice that there were so many deaths in the town, and a large amount of those were kids, and all in the same period of an outbreak. So.
Yep, and from there we went into Nevada City.
Now this is a tourist stop.
It is.
But the state bought this from the owners, and these people were dedicated to bring in historic buildings and relocate them to Nevada City. And they have tons of trains. They have a train museum, and they have the largest antiques of the time frame of the late 1800s. And so all of these buildings are just locked and loaded with all these antiques.
Yeah, it's
and
really
you can
amazing.
really grasp what it was like to live in a town and see how they lived. This is a general store right here.
All the stuff.
Just how it would look in the time, the stables, and we just really, really enjoyed it. And again, it is definitely tourist. You got to pay to get into this place.
But it's well worth it.
Yeah, well worth it.
Like you said, all the antique that they have, and just getting to see all of that.
Yeah.
Really.
And most of these, like I said, most of these buildings were brought in from surrounding areas within Montana.
Yes, they were.
And this place was amazing, with the carriages and the stable, the Liberty building. It was just amazing.
It's just been well taken care of, though.
So Virginia City is just up the road. So we took the train there. And so we got to see a lot of stuff on the way. And we got to see an old dredge that they used to use on the river. And so we took the little train. And I don't know, it was like $8 or something. So it pulled into Virginia City. This is the original city. There's no buildings really relocated here. And the state of Montana also bought the town, as well as Nevada City. And this one is tourist, but it's just really well done. And this is where they have shops, restaurants, but a lot of history.
Yeah.
A lot of history here.
Yes.
And we got there late. We didn't get to spend as much time as we want. By the time we got there, we didn't get to go into a lot of places in there.
Yeah, they roll up the cities early, or the sidewalks.
Yeah. But we had hit Nevada City that day.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time in Nevada.
So then another day, we went to Garnett. And here's another one that you got to go see. Now, Garnett is a ghost town, quite a ways off the highway, dirt road to get there.
Ways.
And these 4 buildings that you're seeing here are the original buildings in this town. And this is pretty much exactly what it looked like.
Yeah, and some of the buildings aren't there anymore because there was fires that took place. So if they've just got a few original ones, we're lucky to see those.
Yeah. Everything to the left of those buildings was burned. And the only reason these buildings were saved is they had a road going to the cabins behind the town that made a fire break. So these 4 buildings here were saved, but the rest of the town was burned to the ground.
Yeah.
But behind the town, there's a lot of miners' cabins. Those are all still existing from the original time. And this town was actually, I think, the last town to really go into ghost town status. And I think it was being mined and operated. There was residents here all the way into the 30s.
Yeah.
And
but it's pretty well preserved also. And
yep.
They have rangers that are on the grounds 24/7.
Yep.
So.
And it butts up against private land. This was a cabin that was on the edge. These are the old miners' cabin. This is behind the town. But perfect day. The sun was out. The weather was perfect.
I really liked this place.
That was the blacksmith.
Yeah.
And here's a miner's cabin. Old stove there and tools still there.
Yeah.
And what was cool here, we got to ride our bikes. So, and it's a big area to cover. So we jumped on our bikes, and we were almost the only ones in this whole park.
I think so.
I mean, we saw, I think, 1 or 2 people, but spent the whole day there. It was awesome. And we started to head back and get ready to go to our next place. Next time on Cooper's Corner, we finish our recap of Season 1 as we go through the Lewis and Clark Caverns. We head to California and explore Afton Canyon. Then we visit Joshua Tree National Park and take Route 66 from Victorville to Barstow. We go 4-wheel driving in the Calico Mountains. And then we enter southern Idaho to visit St. George, Zion National Park, Snow Canyon. Bryce Canyon. We go deep into Canyonlands National Park as well as Dead Horse State Park. And then we are immersed in Arches National Park. So don't miss next week's episode of Cooper's Corner on the Road. And if you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. Tap that like button and share with your family and friends. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll never miss an episode. The scripture of the week comes to us from Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. For all who call on the name of the Lord and surrender their lives to his lordship, Christ offers his grace by the shedding of his blood on Calvary. He will lift us up, and we will not fall. It is our prayer that you have made Christ the center of your life, and that you have surrendered your life to his lordship. May God bless you and keep you this upcoming week. And in all that we do, may we bring glory to the name of Christ. God bless.